Hello, everyone. You're all welcome to another session of This is Maggie. It's a pleasure having you here once again. I would like you to please subscribe to this channel, share this video, and like it. Tell everybody what's going on This is Maggie so that they can be a part of it. I would like to get your feedback, questions, answers, and if you want us to talk one-on-one, you're free to contact me. I hope you have been okay. I hope your family is fine and your job, those that are returning to school, I hope you're doing well. Oh, it's been wonderful. It's been really, really wonderful. A lot of things are going on, and we can only give thanks to God that we are still alive. Well, today we're going to talk about love, which I've decided to title Love Alone is Not Enough. In a marriage, in a relationship, if you're dating, you're engaged, love alone is not enough to sustain it. So we're going to take our text this evening from Ephesians 5:22 to 25. And I'm going to read. Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body of which he is the Savior. Now we're going to jump from there to verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. So, what are wives meant to do? Wives are meant to submit, and the husbands are meant to love. Where there is no love, there is no submission. Where there is no submission, there is no love. Another word for submission you could say is respect. Love alone is not enough to sustain that relationship, to sustain that marriage. That is true. There is a song that is usually said, all you need is love. But I strongly believe that it is wrong. I don't agree with that. Because there is no marriage or no relationship that can survive on love alone. There's so many other elements that makes a successful marriage or that makes a successful relationship. You realize that 5 out of 10 marriages today are heading for divorce because love alone is not enough to sustain it. Many other factors come into play. Yes, love is vital. Love is one of the most important ingredients in marriage, in relationships, especially for the wife. But one thing most times we fail to note is that the husband need respect. That's what we fail to realize. Most men need respect. God has created it that way. Now the question is, how can a wife fulfill her need to be loved? By giving her husband what he needs. Respect. That's the only way she can fulfill that need to be loved. It's an instruction, it's there, we've read it. In some versions it says, wives, respect your husbands. In some versions it says, wives, submit to your husband. Submission is not slavery. A lot of people are turning that word around. No. Submission means respect. Submission means honor. That's what it means. And it's the husbands are told here to love your wife, just as Christ loved the church. Do you want to find some peace in your home? Do you want to feel close to your spouse? Do you want to feel understood? Do you want to experience marriage the way God intended it to be? Then try some love and respect. Like I've always said to many young ladies, if you know you cannot respect that man that you are dating, that man you're going out with, then don't marry him. Don't. Because there are some people that when you see them, you just know that, this one, no, I can't respect him. Then don't go into it. There's no point. If you know you can't love that woman for who she is, for what she is, then don't go into it. Don't marry her because you both have been in a relationship for too long, maybe 2-3 years, and then maybe you marry out of pity. It's not going to work. Let her go or let him go. Your man is there and your woman is there. God has created him or her for you. Ironically, the deepest need of a wife is to feel loved. Most times it's undermined by her disrespect for her husband. If you don't love her, automatically she can't respect you. She can't submit to you. It's a circle that goes round. I would like you to understand that what I'm saying is not that it's not a magic, a magic bullet to solve all marital problems. No, it's not. But it's one very vital issue. It's one very vital element that goes a long way in a marriage. The journey to a godly, satisfying marriage is never over because marriage is work. Marriage is serious work. Serious work. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of cultivating. It's like a garden, like I always say. You have to cultivate it. It takes a lot of pampering. It takes a lot of weeding. You have to weed off the thorns and the thistles. You have to sacrifice a lot. You have to understand a lot. It takes a lot of trusting. And please don't break the trust of your wife. Don't break the trust of your husband. Because once trust is broken, it's difficult to bring it back into that relationship. It's difficult to build again. It's a process, actually. Marriage takes a lot of forgiveness. For it to work, you have to forgive. You have to trust. You have to sacrifice. You have to understand. You have to pamper. You have to cultivate. You have to water it for it to grow, for it to bloom, for it to bring out the fragrance that you desire, for it to bring out the kind of flowers that you desire. You have to take care of it. You have to protect it. Because there are so many wolves out there wanting to swallow the relationship, wanting to swallow your marriage. You have to protect it. It can be a crazy cycle, actually. But when God is allowed into the scene and you practice the principles of love and respect, the potential for improving your marriage is limitless. You just have to allow God. A lot of people feel they can handle this thing by themselves, this thing called marriage or this thing called relationship by themselves. No, you can't. You have to allow God to work it out for you. Allow God to take the lead. Allow him to direct you. And you will see automatically things begin to fall in place. When you allow God, then you begin to see God work in remarkable ways. When you submit yourselves wholeheartedly to his biblical design for marriage, you begin to see things falling in place. Without struggle, without too much effort. Because God is in control. Have it in mind that wives are made of love. Wives are made of love. Yes, that's true. We're women. We want to be loved. We're made of love. That's the way God has made it. It's just the way we're made. It's just the way we're made. We want to be loved. We expect to be loved. But sadly, many husbands fail to deliver. In the world that we live today, many husbands fail to deliver that love which is expected of them. They're more concerned about other things. They're more occupied with other things other than their relationship with their wife, with their home. That's why I always say to ladies, if you can't respect the guy, don't marry him. Husbands are made to be respected. They want respect and expect respect. But sadly, many wives have failed to deliver also. So if you're failing on your part as a wife, you're not respecting your husband. There's no way love can come in. No way. He cannot love somebody that disrespects him. And you may feel, oh, I don't disrespect my husband. I'm polite. I prepare his food. I wash his clothes and all that. But how do you address him? in the presence of your children? How do you talk to him? When you go out, how do you comport yourself? Because you could comport yourself in such a manner that you're disgracing him and not respecting him. When you guys are discussing, how do you go about it? Do you raise your voice to the roof? Or he says one thing and you just lash out? I know that women are bad-mouthed. I know that. And that's one thing that kills a man's ego, when you disrespect him. Be it in front of the children, be it in front of his friends, be it in front of families. We have to always respect. It's very, very important. Without respect, there will be no love. That is the truth. Without love, there will be no submission. So you see that it's a cycle. I would like to say it over and over again. Guys, if you don't love her, don't marry her. Ladies, if you can't respect him, don't marry him. There's no point going into it. Because along the way, it's definitely going to fall apart. You won't be able to sustain it. These are the ingredients that sustains the relationship. It keeps it rolling. It keeps it going. It's the choice you have to make today. Right from the beginning of a relationship, you should have a focus and a direction. Where is that relationship going to? If you're not yet married, if you're dating, you don't lead a lady on if you're not going to marry her. You don't lead a guy on and accept gifts from him if you're not going to marry him. Don't be unstable, unwavering. Stop testing the waters. God has created one man for one woman for one man. You see that it's a chain. Love, respect, submission. It's a vital ingredient that keeps the marriage ball rolling. Without these ingredients, 5 out of 10 marriages head for divorce. And divorce is so common these days in our society. It has become an acceptable norm. It's something that people just throw by the way. Oh yes, it's normal. They see it as normal. And people bring up their children that way. And their children are watching. The children think that's the right thing. Without love from the husband, the wife reacts without respect. Without respect from the wife, the husband reacts without love. It's a crazy cycle that goes round and round. A marital craziness that has got thousands of couples in its grip. It has got a lot of people in its grip. But is that what God wants for you? Marriage can turn around for the better when wives and husbands discover the message of love and respect. And when you start living it out daily, you will see the difference. You will see the tables turn when you start living it out. It's a choice for you to live out that aspect of your marriage or let it die. In our next session, I'll be explaining how we got into this crazy cycle of not loving one another, of not respecting, of not submitting. Because we don't even know when we get into it. So we're going to be talking about that. And then subsequently, we'll talk about how we can get off it. Marriage is sweet. But it depends on the spoon which you're using to eat it. I encourage young ladies, young guys that are not yet married. Don't get married to the wrong person for the wrong reasons. You might think you'll be able to cope, but do you think you can cope for the rest of your life with that person? Think about it before you step into it. God bless you. I'm going to see you next week. God's willing, please don't forget, subscribe to this channel, like the video, and share it. God bless you. See you next week.